Okay, hi Isabelle. I hope you're enjoying your holiday. I've had a look through your draft and I've highlighted and I'll talk you through the various points. So to start, I think here when you're just doing your introduction, just make it clear that you know that it's an Australian government organisation. And the Frontier Post, yes, it's a Pakistani newspaper. We'll talk a little bit more about their audience a bit later because I think you've misunderstood that it's published in Pakistan, but also I think mainly in the UK. So you just need to double check that and make sure that you've shown your understanding. You say a range of factors. Just be very specific here. These are the conventions of advertising. Okay, so make sure that you say that. Okay, form and target audience. This is where you need to be clear who the Frontier Post's audience is. Okay, and Mac. Oh yes, so sorry, when you say feature within the newspaper and its online format, the website that I looked at a while ago said that it's targeted at expats living outside of Pakistan. So I think you need to just double check that. Okay, Max Grap advertisement. Just check your capital letters, make sure that they are correct throughout. Was viewed. It was published. It was placed in areas of social interest. Well, probably I think you're talking about social areas with high footfall or areas of social leisure. I think the word we're looking for is areas where people meet to basically drink, anywhere that people are drinking. So yes, so it would be areas, bus stops situated close to restaurants, bars, pubs. So bus stops and roadside posters close to populated areas with lots of restaurants, bars, pubs, and at bus stops close to these. Yes, to make it highly visible and most effective in reaching its target audience. Okay. The advertisement is aimed at irresponsible motorists living in South Australia. Now you need to be a little bit more specific here. Looking at the ad, do you think it's aimed at men or women? Because to me, it looks like it's aimed at women because they had another advertisement with a little boy in it, which I would say is aimed at men. The one with a little boy is situated next to a bar. This has a little girl dressed like a woman, and it's not a pub, it's a more female-friendly restaurant type place. So I think you need to be very clear here. This is targeted at female motorists. So rather than just irresponsible motorists, at female motorists. What age do you think they are? Look at the way the little girl is dressed. It's not an old age pensioner. It looks to me like it's targeting the sort of 25 to 35-year-old bracket, judging by the way she's dressed nicely. She looks like she's possibly come straight from work. She's got a nice handbag. She's not in jeans and a t-shirt. So you have to think, what does this tell me about the target audience? This isn't a 19-year-old girl out at a rave. This is a sort of young, independent, probably professional young woman who's gone out for drinks at lunchtime or after work, and she's going to make these excuses to drive home. So you need to just be looking a little bit more at that and be a little bit more specific. You don't need to go into huge amounts of detail, but you need to reference the advertisement. it's clearly targeted. It's targeted at females. You can show your understanding that there was another advertisement that used a male child model, and you show why you think it's targeted at this kind of a woman. What is she wearing? What is the backdrop? Where is it situated? So you need to be quite specific in that. The frontier posts, I think you're right. It's male and female. It doesn't seem to be gender specific. It doesn't seem to be age specific either, because it really is just sending a very clear message to all drivers that cars are potentially fatal weapons or weapons of destruction. So I don't know what you mean by advertisement on a daily basis consistently targets the large population of female and men adults in Pakistan. Again, just be careful. I don't think it is in Pakistan, but just check that. To intensify the frequency of deaths on the road due to irresponsible driving in the mind of the reader. Isabelle, what do you mean by that sentence? Is it to highlight the fatal consequences of not driving safely on the roads? If you think that's what it is, then change it. Keep it simple and clear. Yes, the frontier post uses statistical evidence in clear bold font. What do you mean by targets an audience capable of reading such? It's not very difficult language. It takes one life every 25 seconds. They've actually simplified the statistic to make it immediately understandable to any level of education. I think this is a very, very broad audience. That everybody has the ability to harm others on the road due to our personal ignorance for the power of the machines we drive. Okay, can you just simplify that? And you're probably going to repeat yourself, in which case cut it, because and this probably comes under purpose. What emotional connection are they making between their message and the audience? And that is to emphasize the potential of a car to inflict as much damage as a loaded gun. So while the form of both advertisements differ, they both address adult female and male audiences. Okay, so you just need to check this. An Australian context as well as reading capability. I don't know what you mean by reading capabilities. I don't think either of them are targeting particularly. You don't have to be a university lecturer to understand what each advertisement is saying. Again, when it comes to drivers on the road, I think the problem is that drink driving is not based on class or education. It's based on irresponsibility. So just check that. Purpose. Yeah, they do. Just be simple. Look back at the PowerPoint. The purpose is to change behaviours. To signify the importance of road safety, attention to reduce the number of deaths. Yes, it's to change behaviours to address a major issue in our society, which is road fatalities. MAC specifically aims to encourage. I think it's kind of the other way around. What it's doing is it's pouring scorn and criticism on those irresponsible drivers who use those excuses of I'll only be a little over to engage in abhorrent activity, which is drink driving. So its main aim is to, here it's creating an emotional connection, which is one of very harsh criticism of this behavior. So it's sort of the opposite of appeal to popularity, isn't it? This idea of advertisements appealing to popularity, you'll be more popular if you do this. But remember, the flip side is exclusion. So it suggests you'll be either a social pariah, if you do this. So I think we're looking at exclusion here. So make sure that you're showing your understanding of that emotional connection that it is making in order to fulfill its purpose, which is to change irresponsible driving behavior. Yep. So it, I think, infers rather than insinuates that drink drivers make impulsive actions like children. Good. And I think here it's stronger than they should be able to plan ahead. It's because we know better. We are mature. Children can be excused their impulsive actions because they don't know any better because they're children. So the implication here, the connotation is that we are adults, we know better, therefore there is no excuse. The Frontier Post broader approach, yes, the audience to drive safely, not safety. Well, I think again it's more than that. They're creating that emotional connection in the eyes of the viewer of the car, or the minute you turn those keys in the ignition, you are in a weapon of destruction. That's why the keys have been turned into the shape of a gun. So the connection is, if you were holding a loaded gun, would you wave it around and be texting while you were waving it around? So just think broadly, Isabelle. That's the connection that it's made. So yes, you sort of said reimagining the car keys as a lethal weapon. Yes, and make it clear, each time we turn the key in the ignition, it turns the car into a lethal weapon. Now, inciting the audience with fear and anxiety. What this is, it's a persuasive technique which is playing on the audience's fear. So that's what it's doing. To encourage them to drive more safely, yes. So I think we've sort of covered that. Just have a look at what I've written there. Okay. Social context, again, just be careful. One is, they're both supporting the view that dangerous driving can have severe implications. But I think you need to look at, in terms of social context, has drink driving statistics risen in recent years? Is it a real problem? It must be, because this was brought out in the last 5 years. So are deaths by drink driving an important social issue? Yes, they are. And then you've quoted some from that, which is fine. And yes, the Frontier Post is a broader approach, which is dangerous driving in general. This is a broad, a much broader based advertisement, which is fine. You just need to check a little bit. Your expression, just a little bit wordy, is developed by the statistic used, further highlighting the aim of reducing deaths from driving related incidents. Just make it concise. It's using statistics to emphasize the shocking number of deaths caused by dangerous driving every year, and aiming to raise awareness and change behaviors. Right, this video is going to stop while I move on to the next section of your essay. So hold this page.